And we're live.
Merry Christmas, ass bandit dickwads. Oh yeah.
Fucking white master.
Welcome, one and all.
To be fair, I gave these guys warnings this time, so now they're just being dicks.
This butt.
Let's be honest. If you're watching this, you probably are an ass munchie dickmaster. I think that's different than what I was using before.
And unsubscribed.
Oh, Lord.
Well, I'm still assuming that the only people who are going to be watching this is one of us for, like, recaps of last time. So, you're effectively just calling us, which you've already done. So it's really kind of a reminder, if anything.
Are you reminded of your ass munching dickwaddiness?
I mean, I didn't realize I munched ass. I'm munching an apple. Which sounds like
Does
asshole.
the apple taste like ass?
If you no, it tastes like sour apple.
Okay.
It's an asshole.
Tastes like sour apple and blood.
Gingivitis.
Zombie familiar. You have gingivitis.
I do. It's a mild form of gingivitis from mouth breathing. My sinuses.
No, it's actually where I cut my face open shaving and blood is trickling down in my mouth. But it won't stop.
And my dog is currently in a battle with a mini telescope.
You're a mini telescope. Wait, how did my strength get
That
back
hurts
to
me, MP. In ways you will never know.
I think I'm still at 12. I haven't slept yet, have I? No, I haven't. It was at 16 because Rowan gave me super buffs. That's why.
Okay, so. Here's the question.
I have an answer. You want to see if they match?
Do you all want to rest before striking out for town? Or do you just want to go for it and see how things turn out?
I'm personally going for it and seeing how things turn out. I don't want to be here any longer.
It
I think
takes
we should
us.
sleep because
Yeah, here's the thing. It takes us at least a day to get there, and I'd rather not have to watch Nualia while we're,
Oh, it doesn't take a day to get there. It takes like 2 hours.
as a reminder, that was 2 hours through a straight tunnel with no paths. We can't use that anymore. I blew that up.
You said we ended up taking a day to rest on the way to Thornkeep.
I did. Here's the thing. That tunnel was not originally for goblins to go through. That was originally a smuggler's tunnel. Doesn't necessarily come out at the same place as the people who are using it now would go to.
We took an indirect path, is what he's saying.
Yes.
Wait, so there's another exit to the tunnel we forgot to blow up?
No.
No. The tunnel just twists and turns because it's going to a few stops along the way before it gets to where we let out at, or something. And where we let out at was not as close to.
It was never intended to go to Thistletop.
Or Thistletop.
Yeah.
As if we had gone straight
You know
to
that,
Thistletop.
but
So if we had gone straight to Thistletop from town, it would not have taken us as long, is what he is telling us.
Yep.
so if it's a 2-hour trip from Thistletop to Sandpoint, and we added like 6 hours by walking an hour and a half down a tunnel, how does that work? I'm confused now.
Because the tunnel comes out somewhere different, and you had to make up the time. You had to make up the going back.
Yep.
To my recollection, we went through the tunnel. It took about 2 hours. We came out at the end. Waited for a little while before we exploded. Then we rested.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then we trekked off. And then the journey was pretty short after we left. Like, after we finished resting.
I think
Then
Scott,
I guess I misunderstood something.
I think the only reason it took 6 hours, Scott, is because we had that combat, and then we blew up the tunnel, and then we decided to rest before we actually invaded, so that we would all be topped off and at the top of our game. So a exact time of how long it took to get there was never really laid out, because we had just ended up deciding to rest anyways, so that we would be topped off.
Plushie. I has a plushie. It is cute, and I love it.
I will say, it was one of you guys. It was a smart thing to try to block off the tunnel so that this wouldn't happen again. And it was also good of you to not set off the explosives on the side that was in town. Remember, that tree it came out under went flying.
Yes, I should.
Congratulations,
Certainly.
your group is Galarian's first rocket scientists.
Woohoo!
Yay.
It
Best.
was all my idea! Sort of.
Plushie.
It was actually Ileana's idea, but JD totally took credit for it.
That's because JD was the one who went and outlined it to the city guard.
After going to the guy he had previously bought black powder from. Hey, wait, this stuff is awesome. Can I get more? No. Fine, I'll go ask the town guard.
Should say.
I don't think it was a surprise that everyone from Sandpoint was immediately terrified of the prospect of JD owning gunpowder.
Oh, I'm sure.
I don't blame them. But now I've proven I can be trusted with it.
I mean, there was a lot of guards wheeling those barrels.
You used it and no one died.
Exactly.
That doesn't mean you can be trusted.
Yeah.
It really does. They just don't know it yet.
No. I want to point out that people use explosives to break into places all the time. And that doesn't mean that people die during the break-ins.
I don't need explosives to break into places.
A perfect bank robbery often doesn't need explosives. A semi-perfect bank robbery requires explosives and ends with nobody dead. A botched bank robbery ends with people dead and the need of explosives. And a truly botched bank robbery ends with the robbers in chains.
And
No, a
explosives
perfect-
and a lot of people dead.
A perfect robbery
Yes.
ends with all but one robber dead, including a bus driver.
Yeah, but see, I can just
That
turn
depends
invisible,
on
walk
how
in,
much
take
you
what I want,
care.
and walk out.
About your game. I'm thinking more along the lines of Ocean's 11 when I think of perfect bank robbery. Although in that case, that's a casino, so yeah, close enough.
Perfect bank robbery! It's actually a casino! It's the perfect crime, no one will ever think of it.
Yeah, of course, because casino security is insane.
You're insane.
Anyways, moving forward with the session. I think it's a good idea to rest. Just because.
Well, if it's only going to take us a couple hours instead of multiple days, then yeah, we should just go.
All right.
I mean, some of us are a little bit beat, but we can totally handle the Wally if we have to. She's at like what, maybe 6 hit points?
Probably something like that.
I do believe so,
Between
yes.
6 and 8, I think.
And besides, I am confident in character, and I will be resolute about the fact that I think we don't have to worry about her until we get back to Sandpoint. Then
Yeah.
she might start being resistant.
Yeah, about that.
Mm-hmm.
Cross said a thing.
I know he said that. I'm still curious to know what he meant by that.
Yeah, so why don't we pick up with roleplay then? Because you guys hadn't actually made it back. We had stopped with Cross staring at JD.
The Anthony JD on happy hour?
Yeah, and JD staring at his boots, and Dax looking torn and confused between the two of them. It was a very sad time.
Meanwhile, Zamifi, Oric, and I have been transporting helmets and other loots up to the animals.
Alright, so we're gonna start off with just a little bit more of Cross and JD, and then we're gonna switch over to you guys.
Okay.
Depressed, angry, hurt, moody, brooding, staring at my boots.
Angst.
There's nothing wrong with angst if it's done well.
I know, but I just wanted to make the angst sound fun.
Unless Nawalia says something.
Funny you should mention that. Bit of time, small amount of time passes, and you hear from what you assume to be the general direction in that room, and you hear, still there?
JD will thump his fist on the floor and go back to being angsty and moody and broody.
So how much of my story did the other one tell you exactly?
Okay, now I'm trying to remember again what was in character knowledge and what was out of character knowledge.
You got very
The answer, yeah, not much. I think Crossing up the most information right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep, no, that's what I remember now, because I asked you guys at the end of last session to make sure of what I do. And I believe the sum of his knowledge was locked in a room and then burnt down the church.
Sounds right.
So, after a few moments of just silence, locked up in a room in a church before you burnt it down.
So pretty much only that one page then.
Yeah.
Oh, I tell you what, if all you're gonna do is sit out there and brood, and you're gonna hear the creaking of a bed again, after a couple of seconds, what sounds like the rustling of paper, and after another couple of seconds, a sheaf of papers is gonna be slid underneath the door. Bit of reading material to pass the time.
Out of character. That getting set on fire.
I don't think he's angry enough to set her journal on fire again. Um,
About 2 seconds later, you're gonna hear the creak of the bed again.
about the time he hears the creak, he'll actually glance over. Because I imagine the way he's sitting, it would be leaning against the door, back against the door, kind of somewhat hugging his knees with his head held down. So he'll stop well, not stop, he's not doing anything. He'll glance over his arm at the page.
In that case, it's actually going to take a couple of tries. Because she hasn't realized you were sitting directly against the door and just shoved the papers into your ass at first. Then
Yeah,
moved,
no, he
moved
slumped
over to the
against
left.
the door after he lit it on fire and then jammed his dagger in it. And then stayed there.
So you're going to feel that first, and then the paper's going to slide up beside you. And then the creak of the bed.
So he'll glance up at Cross for a brief moment, just kind of deadpan eyes before grabbing the paper and skimming over it.
Frost expresses the same look on his face as last week.
The "oh my god, I feel so bad, I can't do anything for you" look.
That of utter helplessness and defeat.
Yeah, that one. Depression. Yay!
And a broken soul shattering for someone else's broken soul. Yeah.
Okay. So, what I'm going to do is send
You're
you the
level
whole
5.
thing. And you can read it over for yourself. And
We're level 5, and half our characters have a pretty good reason to kill themselves by now.
incoming avalanche.
Yep. I am waiting.
Brace yourself. Get to high ground.
Oh god!
It's in my eyes! It's in
Okay.
my eyes!
And now I will read.
Alright, so while you're doing that, let's pop over to the other half of the group and see how things are getting on. Ileana, Zermifi, and Auric are currently transporting literal armloads of treasure out to the animals.
Mm-hmm.
Who have proceeded to eat collectively every bit of the outer defenses of Thistletop that they could reach. There is now a large semicircle in the outer wall of brambles.
Okay.
That horse has not looked so well fed in weeks. Or days. Was it days? Might have been days. If it was week, it'd probably be dead. It's days. Might have been weeks for all you know.
Mm.
Anyway. Any conversations you want to strike up, or?
I feel that I'm currently very comfortable with how things went with Zamifi, and I would like it to stay that way. So I'm not going to say anything to her. And I have no particular interest in talking to Auric. I just paid him 10 times what I should have.
and it still came out to being less than the original deal.
Well, that was his fault.
You fucked up.
Nah, a sword's a sword, but it could be food.
So unless Zamifi starts something, I guess the answer is no. Not much conversation.
No. Nope.
Okay.
All right then. So that happens. Hard cut back to Brood hallway.
The walls are crying.
Nick, have I played for time enough for you, or do I need to get the vaudeville act in?
Oh no, hell no. I'm at pregnancy.
I think you're about halfway through. Maybe. I'm not
She's
sure.
pregnant? What the fuck?
Yeah, you didn't know how ASMR's reproduced? It's text-based.
That's weird.
Oh,
That's weird.
That's... Okay.
Right?
Oh, that kid. Good God.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Uh-huh.
What the fuck?
Interestingly enough, the page entry for the journal notes basically says, just give them this page.
It should be enough.
Well, since we're back on Team Angst, I'm gonna go use the bathroom real quick. Be right back.
Oh, I was wrong. I don't think you're halfway through. Oh, it might be.
She just killed the one dude. So... Oh, so that's on the... Okay, so that's how she met the target. So after a few moments of silent reading, or minutes, I suppose, actually, Cross will notice this, that JD sort of grips the page tighter and tighter as he's reading, to the point where he's crumpling up the edges. Push his hands together to start crumpling it. Stop and hold there for a minute before taking a deep breath, pulling it back apart, somewhat, sort of, half, not really straightening it, pushing it back under the door behind him. So your answer was vengeance.
Pretty much, yes.
And if I choose to take the same answer now, to show you the death you showed my parents,
Tenses.
burning alive, would that not be in line with your own goddess? You failed her.
You saying you want to take my place?
Okay, out of character. Damn good line.
I know, that was fucking good. That's fucking top. I'm sitting there like, supposed to fucking write this? You have a flowchart going on?
So my silence of stunned disbelief is going to match JD's silence of stunned disbelief for a few moments, and he'll look up, like his head will kind of snap up when she says that, but he's not looking at you. He's looking at you, Cross, but he's not looking at you.
Yeah. I just happen to be where he's looking. He's not looking at me.
It would be a safe bet he doesn't even know you're there. And since I assume Cross is paying intent attention to this ongoing, he would see that lifelessness in his eyes. There's basically a war waging inside itself is the only way I can think to put it. And you know how you can see that in someone's eyes.
They're struggling.
At this point, you're going to hear the bed creak again. You're going to hear Noalia's voice actually coming closer. I don't know why, but for whatever reason, I kind of expected a quote-unquote hero of Sandpoint to be slightly above that sort of thing. Then again, it is Sandpoint. I haven't really heard the other one in a while. I'm guessing you're alone, are you?
A small amount, Cross, of that, Rowan, of that childishness will finally win out and come back to JD's eyes. Not near as bright as it was, obvious reasons. And he'll stretch out, roll his shoulders because he's been slumped over for a while now. Kind of wipe his face on the back of his sleeve and flash you a really dorky, pathetic grin. Yeah, I am a hero of Sandpoint. Sort of. And it is completely within my power to kill you. To light you on fire and listen to your screams and know that you're dying what I imagine to be the most horrific death imaginable.
Well, but I don't have to imagine.
Better than you, and I'm better than that. And I'm not going to go down that road. I didn't know at the time what they were talking about downstairs. But I still mean it. You deserve another chance. You've done some bad stuff for some bad reasons because bad things were done to you. But you don't have to stay that way. I don't have to become you. And you don't have to stay who you are. I forgive you. And I hope you can forgive yourself.
After a couple of seconds. Huh. That was a pretty good speech, actually. Do you have cue cards?
Oh yeah, right here. It's going to mime looking over cue cards, not that she can see it.
You don't have cue cards, do you?
No, of course not.
Well, whether you kill me or not, the fact remains the same. I have no intention of ever back to Sandpoint.
Well, you keep saying that. What do you propose we do with you then?
Well, it's not the only city on the coast. Have you ever been to Magnamar?
No. But I have a proposition for you.
Oh?
You don't want to go back to Sandpoint. If even half of what I read is true, then I don't blame you.
All of what you read is true.
But just because someone did something bad to you doesn't mean you get to do something bad to them. However, so far as I can tell, I'm the only person in that village who you ever hurt who didn't hurt you first. We are the heroes of the city. I would expect that gives us some weight in matters of how justice is dealt out, and if not, we're plenty strong enough to decide how justice is dealt ourselves. Come back. Let someone who you hurt who didn't hurt you pass judgment.
Sounds a lot like someone's planning on taking the law into their own hands. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like it.
You know we can't let you go without taking you back to Sandpoint. But if they've done all this, they have
Oh, you
no
certainly
right.
can, right here, right now. You're just not going to, from what I understand.
Semantics. But if they've done this to you, then they have no right to judge you for what was essentially a horribly misguided attempt to defend yourself. The only ones who have any right to judge you are the ones who never did something to you in the first place. If anyone other than me is in that town, anyone other than me like that is in that town, we'll gather and have a council about it. I'll stay in your corner and advocate for your life, but you have to agree to come back to Sandpoint.
Well, there's a bit of a surprise. Now, see, from my perspective, that's all a bit of an illusion of a choice. In that I'm really in no position to refuse. Although,
I mean, you aren't, but cooperation could go a long way to saving your life.
at the moment, I'm a bit less preoccupied with saving my skin so much as... Let's see how I can put this. Seeing the looks on their faces when they see what they've made. It's tempting, I'll give you that.
What's Cross's reaction to all this, by the way? Because JD's still staring at him. He's just talking to the door.
He looks lost in his own thoughts now. He doesn't look like he's... Again, he's not actually looking at you. He's looking at the door behind you. He's just sort of looking past you. His eyes aren't entirely focused. Where you are sometime during your conversation, between the point where you said, I forgive you, and now he drifted.
Oh, okay.
And now he looks like he's somewhere else.
At this point, you're going to hear a sort of a tapping on the... like someone's drumming their fingers. Although it's less the sound of fingers and more the sound of...
Claws.
Yeah, like knife points being driven into the door. Well, you've gone to all this trouble of setting the illusion of democracy. Let's keep that myth going a little bit further, shall we? What was your name?
JD.
Those aren't names, those are letters. Never mind. Well, JD, you have yourself a deal.
Literally just made a deal with the devil, dude.
Demon.
I was using the cliche, Scott. I deal with the devil.
Eh,
At this
sort of
point,
agreement.
you're probably gonna hear and or feel the papers being pulled up from the door.
Mm-hmm.
God, you're a sloppy reader.
What can I say? It was an emotional read. At least I didn't burn it. By the way, you're not getting the other page back, sorry.
Hmm. Oh, that's a shame. The evidence of me burning down the church is gone.
You already know the town won't need evidence.
Hmm.
And if nothing else, it's another ball in your court.
At this point, you're gonna hear the voice creeping further away from the door. Well then, JD. When do we get going?
He's gonna shrug. Again, not that she can see that. When the rest of the group is ready to go. I imagine sometime today.
Well, this promises to be an interesting week for us all.
You say that like it hasn't already been, so.
And silence.
JD's gonna stand up and pull his dagger from the door, put that back where it belongs, and step over across the hall, kneeling down next to Cross, and
You can't even reach Nualia from here. I mean, what?
and clasping Cross firmly on, well, as firmly as a 4 strength score can, on the shoulder.
Looks up with a bit of a start.
JD's got his usual cocky, retarded kid grin back firmly in place, even if his eyes are somewhat darker. For a grumpy old guy, you're not half bad.
He looks to try to give an approximation of a smile, but it's weak, as the rest of his face is very weak, until it just ends with his eyes still very, very heavy and very red. He looks like he's been crying.
To be fair, JD's would too at this point.
I'm proud of you.
He's gonna give you a shrug like he doesn't know what the hell you're talking about. I didn't do anything. Gonna glance over his shoulder at the door. Mostly.
You're welcome.
he was actually glancing at the burn mark, but sure, okay.
Doesn't matter. Nuali would read for it anyway. Oh, so she can in fact still hear you guys in the hallway.
I assume as much. We're only literally outside her door and not exactly talking at a whisper.
Cross is going to stand, step forward, and pull JD into a big hug.
Yeah. Hi.
Just around the shoulders. I'm proud of you.
Okay. Sure. Thanks.
Yeah. Really. I'm proud of you. And then he steps back, clasps you on the shoulder, wipes his eyes with the back of his hand. Yeah, I'm proud of you. Heads back upstairs.
I thought you guys were upstairs.
Like upstairs.
We were just
'Cause we are
outside
up.
Nualia's door.
Right.
Wherever that
Yeah,
was.
First basement floor. First basement floor, right?
Yeah, headed up to top floor.
All right.
Oh, right.
So Miffy will suggest that she stay with the loot to protect it while you go fetch the others.
Okay. Well then,
You might meet Cross coming up the stairs.
sure.
He looks like, well, a mess. His eyes are red, watery, as is his face. He looks like he hasn't slept in months. And that look in his eyes of just fucking kill me.
Ileana's gonna open her mouth for a moment, look like she's going to say something, close it.
If it matters, JD would not likely be far behind.
Should I ask?
Good guys won.
Okay. So, are we going to be...
He keeps walking up past, unless you get in front of him or stop him.
If he keeps walking past, I'll let him walk past.
Finish your thought, though?
No. So I'm guessing that we don't have to worry about Nualia trying to run off?
Nope.
I kind of want to find out what you did. At the same time, I'm almost scared to ask.
Burned some papers, burned a door, had a deep, meaningful conversation about the meaning of life and truth and love and forgiveness, and grew up a little bit. He's gonna give you a thumbs up.
And that didn't touch her at all, so what did you actually say to her? Or what did you offer her, or what did you do?
Well, I figured out why she did all the things she did. He's gonna adopt a more serious expression, losing the cocky grin he's always got. And I came to a conclusion. A lot of people in town did really bad things to her and helped create the person she is now, and in fact are responsible for who she is now. They don't have the right to judge her. People like me, who are hurt by her actions, who literally never did anything to her, we're the only ones that get the right to judge her. I told her if she agreed to come back to town, I would make that case, by logic or by force, and that I would stand in her corner.
I thought that the whole point of bringing her back was to turn her over to the proper authorities, not create our own group of authorities.
The proper authorities can't be fair in this matter. So we find
Which is why I was planning on having them send her to Magnamar and get tried there.
Oh, she suggested going to Magnamar anyways, so fine.
She did?
I don't think she suggested
Keep that in mind.
with cuffs in mind, but she did in fact suggest Magnamar.
Have to keep that in mind in the future then. Okay. Well,
The
everything's...
point is that the people in that town did terrible, terrible things to her. That's going to inevitably include guards. And I suspect that if we walk back into town, they're not going to want to give her a trial. They're going to want to kill her on sight. I figure we are more than capable enough, even without a night of rest to recharge, to stop that from happening. I know with some convincing I can get a Mako on our side. She's handy in a pinch. And if we can get a Mako, if Shalelu comes back, she'll probably take our side too. But the point is, people who created her don't get the right to judge her. And if I can
You've
forgive her, then
completely lost me with your train of thought, but I'll just accept the fact that you convinced her to come back willingly. Not how I would have done it, but okay. I'm gonna give you a sort of thumbs up. Stuff's packed up. I'll go get her.
oh, that was quick. Okay.
We still might have to make a sledge for the helmet if we're gonna move with any sort of speed, but we're just about ready. And I'm gonna head downstairs.
Okay.
JD will. I imagine we were at about the middle point of the stairs for this conversation or so. So he would stop and lean against the wall and wait there.
Oh. Approaching Nualia's bedroom.
You'll notice a nice deep scorch mark right in the center of it.
Also, looks like a dagger's been in that door at some point.
I'm gonna kneel down in front of the door and start trying to undo the jam, taking however long it takes. So it sounds like there was a real heart-to-heart that I missed.
Something like that.
Looks like it too.
Is it as scorched up on that side as I'm imagining it? Because it didn't quite penetrate.
Don't know how much you're imagining, but there's a decent sized burn in the middle of the door.
Yeah, he was pissed.
Oh.
Rightfully so from a certain perspective, but still. That door was mahogany, you know.
God damn it, Jeff.
I'd feel sorry for it, but it's wood.
That's fair.
Even if it might be somewhat expensive wood. We're already lugging a helmet back. I don't think we need to lug a door back, too.
It's not like I paid for that. What do you mean a helmet?
How much did you look around down there? The sub-basement. You ever find the giant hermit crab?
I'm not sure whether or not I should be surprised. Just know that I'm not.
Okay. Can we say I'm done with the lock right about now?
I think we can.
Okay. There's a click. You have those manacles on?
As you're opening the door, sitting on the bed, holding up the claw arm with both manacles on it. Technically, yes.
Okay.
Escaping proved to be too much of a hassle. But I don't really have the key for this thing.
True enough. Alright, let's get going. I'm gonna step aside out of the doorway and I'm going to let her walk in front of me.
I'm surprised. I thought you were going to take the time to affix these properly.
Well, you seem to have a reason to want to go back now. I hope that's not necessary.
You know, there's some small part of me that wishes I'd met you people first.
And there's a part of me that is glad you didn't.
I'm not quite sure how to take that.
Just that I feel that life works out the way it does, and...
You're not one of those everything happened for a reason people, are you?
No, but...
Good, they were so annoying.
Yeah. Nah. If I had met you sooner, if I had met any of these people sooner, I'd be a very different person. If I were a very different person, then I wouldn't be able to appreciate today the way I appreciate it now. I won't be able to appreciate tomorrow the way I'll appreciate it tomorrow. I am who I am because of the things that have happened to me, and I'm glad the way for now, at least. So, lead the way.
Nualia's gonna walk up out of the. Actually, partway to the stairs, she's gonna turn around. Do you have the keys for these chafe?
Technically, I think if anybody would have picked the keys up off her, it would be Cross. If he doesn't have them for some reason, I can remove them the hard way.
Manacle saber in the chest.
Oh, oops. Did we find a key in the chest for them?
I'm not sure you did. Let me check.
All manacles come with a key.
Well, then you probably did.
Yeah, it's upstairs.
Maybe slap them on Oric. He has a habit of turning on people.
Part of the reason why I did not want to work with him. But I suppose we will slap them on whoever the group feels it's most necessary.
Paladin's probably gonna think it's her.
Hmm.
Sorry, everyone's forgetting that Zamifi doesn't trust her at all, and there is absolutely no resolved hostility between those two.
Before we continue, Jeff, I'd recommend that you copy and paste the tokens from down below to up here. Hit points have changed around quite a bit, and we have leveled since we last went downstairs.
There they are.
Thank you.
Also, Jeff, I sent you a ding.
Yes, you did.
So whenever you get a chance to read that.
Yep.
Well, we run into JD partway up the stairs since he was waiting for us.
Hello again.
Wally is leading the way.
Nualia's gonna wave her gently manacled claw hand.
JD's going to take a moment to eye that, take a breath, and hold out his left hand in the gesture of a handshake.
Let's see here.
I believe her left arm is the claw, if I remember the image correctly.
It is, in fact. She's gonna look at your hand, and then look at her hand. And I'm gonna need you all to make a sense motive real quick.
Moment of truth.
Ah. There we go.
Okay,
so
so
many 17s.
you both realize about the same time, really a rather reasonable deduction given circumstances, that she's probably never actually figured out the mechanics of shaking hands with this hand.
It's probably fair.
So does she just kind of stare at me for a minute, or?
She looks at your hand, looks at her hand, looks at your hand, and starts slowly coming in from the side with her hand.
Like her
Trying
hand,
not to-
not her claw?
Her claw hand,
Okay.
trying not to impale you on the talons.
When it's close enough, because we can see it's awkward and difficult, he'll just carefully wrap a hand around one of the talons and shake like that, so as not to, rip his hand open on her finger, JD. And his normal kid cocky grin is back.
She's gonna stare at you for a second, then turn to Ileana. That's what he looks like all the time, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I know. After you then, JD.
He'll shrug at the implied insult, and
No, you're in front of us on
no,
the stairs.
I know. He's shrugging at her implied insult.
Oh.
Letting her hand go and turning to head on up.
I'm pretty sure it was more explicit than implicit.
Whichever.
Eh.
Okay. Okay then. We make it to the group. Unmolested, I hope. Maybe.
Well, whatever you two do is your own character's business, but personally,
Haven't got there yet.
Ah. Okay. Well,
Anthony is currently up in the watchtower. As of note.
Ah.
Alright, so as you three are making your way through the fortress and Anthony is all along the watchtower, where is Zamifi right now?
Standing with the horses by herself, I guess.
Alright.
Then where's Oric at?
Presumably with Zamifi and the horses.
I don't know. I wasn't watching him.
Alright then. Let me just grab this. Actually, I don't really need to do much of this stuff. You guys are going to be heading off this map pretty soon. I just need you guys down by the horses, if you wouldn't mind.
Okay.
If you're walking that way.
I assume they have to retrieve what's his face first.
Yes, Anthony.
I assume we will. I'm just moving my token down because he wants us to group them together so he can copy past us.
Hmm. Well,
Don't forget Slutty Hobat.
on the way back to the animals then, yes, I'll ask JD. I know Zamifi and Orica are over there. Did Cross say that he was heading back to the animals, or is he still in the building somewhere?
He didn't say. I can find him if you want me to.
If you could.
JD will follow the two of them out to the front gates, take a look around, shoot a burning hand straight up in the air. Cross!
Yeah. Find him.
Ripes. Thought you said you were gonna find him, not torch the place.
Just straight up in the air. It's a flare.
It's a cone.
It can be used as a makeshift flare.
Where are you shooting the flare at? Out front?
Yeah, he followed them to the front gates.
So are you actually burning a burning hands on that?
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah, no, I actually burnt a spell on that.
Unfortunately, he's looking out this way.
That's why he shouted cross as he
Oh no!
threw a flare, threw it up.
No response.
Crotchety old man. Alright, fine, I'll actually go find him. Would you have been visible, or would you have been...
He would be standing on the watchtower right here. If there's a guardrail, he's leaning against it, looking out towards the sea.
So, probably visible, like
Or the like.
we killed 2 goblins from up there.
Like,
So since
around
that
here.
didn't tend to get your attention, JD will walk in to take the more personal approach.
Boot to the head.
That,
Hey Anthony. Time to go.
leave it.
You couldn't tell?
Fine.
Throw up a flare and everything.
He looks at you like, I have no idea what you're talking about. But I don't really care enough to say I don't know what you're talking about.
It's the cross symbol. Improper use of magic and everything. He's gonna sigh and just kind of shake his head. You're clearly just not yourself right now. And as we're walking, so what's wrong with you?
Old wounds. Old wounds.
That is like the least specific answer you could possibly give.
I'm sure I'll tell you one day, probably back at Sandpoint. but right now, he's gonna hold up the flask, sort of shake it side to side, and it's basically empty. I'm working on forgetting.
You know, if you need alcohol to cope with your problems, you're probably not doing it right. Just gonna go ahead and say.
No fucking shit. Chug.
I think I'm going to look up the rules on drunkenness real quick. I'm pretty sure they involve a con save.
There aren't any in Pathfinder.
Usually,
A few
you're
different
treated as
homebrew
sickened.
variants.
Yeah, usually after a certain amount, you're treated as sickened.
I'll take
Any
it.
more, after another certain threshold, you're treated as nauseated, and then you knock yourself unconscious eventually. And sometimes the nausea or sickness sticks around the following day, or
How
at least
quick-
for a few hours.
How quickly did you empty that hip flask?
Well, it went from about half to where it is now.
But that's been
And
over
that's-
the course of
that's-
while we've been here, isn't it?
No, that's from the course of when I came upstairs.
Oh.
That would be enough to get me dizzy, and I'm massive, but Anthony has also been drinking forever. So he probably has a higher tolerance. I'm sure he can cope better than a normal person, but I mean, he's not doing well.
Alright, make me a constitution saving throw.
Is that a fort
Constitution check.
save or a con check?
Fort save, rather.
Okay.
You sounded like 5e for a moment.
I get to have a modifier. Yeah.
Not a good one.
Alright.
It was just going to be a d20.
We cannot afford to let you get poisoned.
Alright.
That's
Cross.
a lot to take alcohol poisoning. Oh, and poison in general. Yes, that's also true.
Yeah.
Yeah, 11 con, and it was.
You're currently taking a -1 penalty to wisdom and dexterity. 1 point of temporary damage
Cool.
for, let's say, an hour.
Got it, boss.
Long enough for the alcohol to get out of here.
We're off. That's about how long it takes for me. It's like an hour. Fucking. All right, sounds good. Yeah, he's a little just not focused, not really looking at things at the moment.
Right.
He should not be driving the horse.
No. Def not.
Pretty sure he won't be, at least.
None of my modifiers went down. Yay!
You're lucky.
Yeah, he's basically quiet and silent. He doesn't really say anything.
So JD would have attempted a little bit of conversation and then just shrugged and given up.
And then we're good to go, because he'll just go meet back up with the others.
Alright.
Yay!
Oh, JD, you might have noticed when you walked up to the tower, he was twirling that gold band on his finger.
Again. Right. He won't say anything about it yet, though, because you're pretty reluctant to talk at the moment. So.
I think we're pretty much good to go onward.
Yeah.
All right then. Is everybody heading off?
Mm-hmm.
Okay then. I will need from you all is to make me a D12 roll, each of you.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yay! 11, 7, 3, 5. None of us rolled the same thing. That's good.
It might be.
3.
Yay! I got us a combat.
Okay, now let's see exactly what you got.
If we're lucky, it'll be a largely non-combat encounter.
When you guys came up with what's her face, unmanacled and whatnot, Zamifi would have like glared, but then looked away and I don't know, stared at Kachita.
By the way, as soon as we get the stuff, I'm gonna search for the key to the manacles, and I'm going to undo them and redo them properly.
Fair enough. Ooh. Let's see. Let's... Coming down to fight New Ollie was the first thing you did this morning, yeah?
Yep.
So that would be a couple of hours at the most, so that one doesn't really make sense. So I think I'm going to just try that one again.
Generally speaking, if a encounter can't or wouldn't occur, then it doesn't. You don't re-roll.
Alright.
And you would treat this as no encounter, and next time you'd have us roll d10s.
Okay, so let's see. Okay. Alright, so 6 ghouls appear on the road you are traveling on a good several hours after you pass by.
I dig it.
Okay.
See nothing on the road and promptly sink back into the ground. Getting to claim a human life.
Awesome.
Oh, yay.
Don't walk down this road again. I'll stick that note right under the note that says, make every character in Scott's games from now on with the code that says kill all alchemists on sight. Both very important notes. Not really.
hope not. That would be a depressing end to a really cool character in Carrying Crown.
All right, who am I
Thankfully,
killing
I
on
didn't
sight?
carry a crown.
You've already met him.
Didn't we kill him?
No, there is an alchemist that you guys know that Malta is like best friends with.
Oh, right. He's an alchemist. I forgot he was an alchemist.
Thankfully, I'm not in carrying a crown. Onward!
Yes, sorry for distracting.
My fault.
Alright, so. Some poor, unsuspecting farmer is going to have a hell of a time later on.
Really sucks to be that guy.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Suck it, Farmer Brown.
That man had a family.
Man,
Oh,
Charlie
wow.
Brown was a good guy. Farmer Chuck was a good guy. Come on now. All he ever did was want to bring his apples to people and share his joy with the world.
Shane's a dead guy now.
Yeah, dude got his shit fucking wrecked.
Hmm.
Why do you guys keep killing Farmer Chuck Brown? He was a good guy.
Hey, it's not our fucking
Good guy.
fault. You killed him this time too.
No, this is Farmer Dan Brown.
Oh, his son.
Oh,
The whole
what a
family's
twist.
dead.
Yeah. Yeah, the one that keeps trying to push his books on people, trying to get published.
Ah, there's a good reason then.
Oh, he deserves it. Alright, my conscience is clear now.
He's not a bad author, guys. I don't know what you're talking about. His books were actually pretty well written.
Not so well researched, though. That's just one example. Da Vinci is not actually part of Leonardo's name. It's just Leonardo from the town of Vinci. That's literally all it is.
Leonardo da Vinci. So how long does it take to get back? I'm assuming we get back unmolested after the ghouls, miss us entirely.
Sorry?
Do we make it back to
How long
town?
does it take us to get back?
Oh, about 2 hours.
Cool.
All right, good luck.
It should be noted that the animals are adamantly on whatever side of the marching order JD is not.
Fair. Dicks.
You're a
Animals.
dick.
I have done nothing to those animals. I was just born this way. It's not my fault.
Ah, damn it.
They
not
think it's a
Lady
choice.
Gaga.
Beautiful in his way. God makes no mistakes.
Yeah, but
Will
which
you
god?
stop? Will we stop?
Alright, so you all come rolling into town. A couple of you literally. Whoever helped work on helmet duty.
Not JD. Tell you that right now.
He is handle animaling, I'm pretty sure.
In that case, it would be Cross's responsibility to watch Noalia while I help with the helmet.
Okay. I'm in a good position to watch. That's
Yeah.
worn off by now. I'm not alcohol.
Well,
It's been an hour.
You should know that every so often, Nualia glances in your direction and resists the urge to chuckle. Because that's still funny to her.
Crazy old man.
He wouldn't actually notice because he's not even thinking that she exists.
Real
Just
good
barely
guard
register-
duty there.
Well, you're doing a
barely
bad job of
registering that
guarding.
It's barely registering that she's there. That is literally as much attention as he is paying. Is she
You're
still there?
really
Okay.
bad guard.
Ignore the rest.
You are literally the
minimum,
worst
yay.
guard ever.
Would you like to be on guard duty, JD?
JD
Actually, no.
probably
the literally
sitting
worst guard would
nearby.
be Naffer. The literally worst guard for this would be Naffer.
Well. But to be, like in all seriousness, JD's probably nearby. Paying attention, if nothing
yeah,
else.
why did I say Cross? It should have been you. What did I think you would be doing during all of this?
Walking with a limp near Nualia. I don't know.
Apparently, I thought you'd be doing something else. I
What
don't
else
remember
could he
what,
do?
though.
Yeah, no, he's juggling right now.
I'm
He's playing the
showing off my
saxophone.
mad juggling skills. No one's paying any attention.
He's juggling saxophones while playing them.
I'm sure.
Magic, bitch.
Also, JD, you're
You know,
taking
that's a
level
bluff
of
check that... That's a bluff check that even I would have trouble selling.
Magic, bitch. I do what I want.
Also,
Never
you
gets worse than a minus
invented
20.
the saxophone.
Damn right I did.
I'm just saying. Never gets worse than a minus 20. Eventually. Y'all
Which
get
puts
there.
me at a -2.
Nah, you can do it. I trust you. Leaving you.
I have characters that they take a -20 and they still have like a +30.
Yeah, we're all about getting
character.
those numbers high in our groups. It's ridiculous. I'm not even sure we're doing it on purpose.
She is.
It
She very
happens.
much is.
I just. Bye.
Hmm?
Uh,
What?
Did she take that the wrong fucking way and hang up?
the fuck just happened?
I don't know.
Oh my god. Oh my
Where'd you
Welcome
go?
back.
I went away to avoid the inevitable war that is coming between me and Nick, where he claims that I power play purpose.
No,
So,
you asshat.
bye.
For God's
Yes.
sakes, woman. God fucking sake.
I thought we had worked partway through the whole she's not talking to us anymore thing.
Me too.
We did.
Obviously not.
I mean, I know that it wasn't resolved, but thought that it was at least better.
Live, everybody.
You know what? Fuck it. I got a 12-hour shift in the morning. If she's not coming back, it's 1 o'clock. I'm going to bed. I gotta be at work at 8. Merry Christmas.